again, you shame women if they do it the right way. You shame them when they don't, and you're acting like. I'm honestly afraid that some of you might be behind closed doors calling Mariah Carey Nick Cannon's baby mama, and that's where I have to. That's where I have to log out completely because what are we talking about? What are we talking about? If you it'd be the same people who wonder why they don't have high self-esteem. They wonder why they hate themselves. They wonder why their inner voice is so mean because you are also very mean and judgmental. The same voice that talks to and about people crazy is the same voice that's going to talk to you and about you crazy. You're not safe from yourself. You are with you all the time. You think that people are going to judge you and demean you so much because you judge and demean people so much as well. Like, men are sex addicts. Men are sex addicts. And if we're using people forward language, they are people who are suffering from sex addiction. I don't know what to tell you. Y'all only care about Cardi. Y'all don't care about the kids. Y'all don't care about the kids. You don't care about the kids. Let me just tell you right now. You don't care about the kids. I don't know who lied to you, but they lied, and they told you even more ridiculous lies. You don't care about those kids. And let me tell you why.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently. That's okay. Things are gonna be okay.
Hello. Welcome to my corner of the cloud. I hope to build a community of like-minded yappers. The world is burning. Let's sip tea together in the meantime.
Honey.
Oh. This is just, the whole thing is a hot mess. I was really hoping that no one would even talk about this when the rumors about Cardi B being potentially pregnant with Stefon Diggs' child was floating around. I was like, y'all, we've had so much baby mama discourse for so long. Any point that could possibly be made about women having kids has already been made. There's no way y'all gonna talk about this. No way. Child. And then I even held on to a little more shred of hope when the Gayle King interview came out. I was like, nobody's gonna pay attention to this, because we've talked about the baby mama discourse. We've had all the conversations. Wow. Oh, how delusional I was. How delusional, because y'all talked about this for a whole day straight, and then some, and here I am talking about it. A hot mess, but whatever, we're here now, so let's talk about it. When it comes to women having kids, mothers, baby mamas, whatever terminology you want to use, the virtual signaling and basically public shaming that happens around this topic is so grotesque. Genuinely, where's the humanity? Really, where's the humanity? People are bringing human beings into this world, and then y'all are killing your humanity as a response to that. And I'm at a loss for words. I'm very confused. I don't know what's going on. And it will literally be the people who consider themselves liberals and progressives and Democrats and whatever. You're not this morally superior individual, this person with just this hot take because you're so smart and everybody's so dumb and they're not really clocking tea and putting the pieces together like you. No, what you're engaging in is virtual signaling and public shaming. That's literally what you're doing. Single moms, baby mamas, mothers, they're not safe. From the liberals, they're getting shamed. From the conservatives, they're being dehumanized. You're literally doomed if you do, doomed if you don't. It's actually so raggedy. Y'all drag single women for not having kids, and then when women have kids, look at how you treat them. It's so wild. It's so weird. The misogyny, bro, it never stops. And the whole thing is a slippery slope because we don't really talk about men who abandon their kids and aren't real dads. They just stop at being fathers, if they're even that. And if women start paying attention to the way y'all are treating these men who have these kids and immediately opt out, and they start to mirror these men, aka they have these kids, they drop them off at some adoption agency, or they just drop them off on the side of the road. They just drop them off somewhere. They start abandoning these kids. Are y'all gonna be surprised? Are y'all gonna be shocked? Because this is where y'all this was logic. This was basically what y'all were telling them taken to its logical extreme. This is the shame and the dehumanization. If you are out here making fun of me for being a mom, the way to stop being a mom is to get rid of these kids. In the words of Issa Rae, F them kids, chuck them to the sky. Like, if single moms really, if women really started internalizing the message that like you're a dummy, you're whatever for having kids, the quickest way to stop being a mother is to get rid of these kids. But then at the same time, y'all will also shame women for getting abortion. So like, I'm so confused. And maybe some people might be like, oh, the option is to not have sex. That's also not a good option. Because Bumble telling you, oh, you know, you weren't really on that whole abstinence thing. There are men up and down timeline shaming women for being abstinent, for being celibate, and then they'll like threaten them and be like, oh, I can break your celibacy, or like they'll make it an entire goal or an entire aim to try to break a woman's celibacy. Like, it's all so weird, it's all so strange, it's all so very, very, very deranged. Like, bro, like literally being a woman is so hard. Like, you're really just doomed if you do, doomed if you don't. Like, it's so raggedy. It's so like nothing you do is ever good enough. Literally nothing you do is ever good enough. Like, you'll always be wrong. So just pick the wrong that works for you. Pick the wrong that works for you. And apparently for a lot of women, the wrong that works for them is being a mom. And regardless of where they go, y'all are still going to be pop on their head. You know what I mean? And some people might be like, oh no, like there's a traditional and a right way to do it. You're supposed to get married and then have the kids. Is that not what Cardi B did? Is that not what she did? Did she not get married then have the kids? But y'all were still talking to her like she was what's his name? Off to cheat baby mama. And I'm not even saying this like being a baby mama inherently makes you less worthy of respect and common human decency, because that's not true. Like, that's raggedy behavior. Because we don't treat the men the same way, you know? We don't look at baby daddies and just look down on them as a society. Like, it's so raggedy. Like, she did it the way y'all wanted her to do it. Get married, then have kids. Is it her fault that her man was just cheating up and down, was a whole sex addict, couldn't keep it in his pants? Is that her fault? Is that her fault? Are we going to hold her to account for actions she didn't do, for crimes she didn't commit? It's so raggedy, it's so ghetto. But then you could be like, oh, okay, well, you know, people aren't really dragging her about the Offset thing. They're dragging her about the Stefan Diggs thing, because even if she was a wife to a wife to Off to Cheat, she is a baby mama to Stefan Diggs. And my question is, and because of that, she deserves to be talked to like she's not a human being? And because of that, she deserves to be degraded? Like, it's very weird. It's very odd. It's very strange. And then, you know, with the liberals, who, you know, that's who I'm primarily going to be speaking to, y'all really think that justice is punishment or shaming? Like, literally, it's justice. It's not punishment, and it's definitely not shaming. Y'all are so weird. Y'all think coming online and dragging people and talking to people crazy and not giving people grace and taking things away from people, that's how you get justice. That's how you make the world a better place. No, babe. 2 wrongs don't make a right. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Didn't y'all learn this in kindergarten? 2 wrongs don't make a right. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. Justice is not punishing people. It's not. If I stab you and you stab me, you stabbing me is not gonna make the pain that I caused you any. It's not gonna decrease that pain. Making someone feel the pain that they made you feel is not going to make you feel any better. That's not what justice is. And I don't understand how the liberals and the progressives and the people who are going to therapy and working on themselves and confronting their shadow side, I don't understand how y'all the same ones that just don't care about basic human compassion. Y'all are stuck on empathy, stuck on emotional intelligence. Okay, but you're not compassionate though. You don't care about people. Like, genuinely, you don't care about people. You don't care about human beings. Y'all be talking about all these statistics, but it's like, what about the humanity? What about the like, literally, what about the people behind the statistics? Y'all are all wanting to be debate bros and have hot takes and be so salacious in the way you talk about actual human beings with emotions and feelings. It's very, very, very weird. Just because people made bad decisions and are doing things that you don't agree with, that it's not even like they're championing the bad decisions that they making. Like, I'm thinking about like Belly Conklin and the way y'all talk about her in The Summer I Turned Pretty. That girl is not standing 10 toes down behind a lot of the raggedy decisions that she's been making. She's not standing 10 toes down behind that. But the way y'all talk about this girl, the way y'all dehumanize and demean this girl, it's crazy. It's crazy, because if we looked at your life and all the stupid decisions you've made, come on. And then it'd be the same people who wonder why they don't have high self-esteem. They wonder why they hate themselves. They wonder why their inner voice is so mean, because you are also very mean and judgmental. The same voice that talks to and about people crazy is the same voice that's going to talk to you and about you crazy. You're not safe from yourself. You are with you all the time. You think that people are going to judge you and demean you so much because you judge and demean people so much as well. Like, it's bro, it's so weird. And like, and what really be getting me is that I really fear that this generation yearns for the days of the gulags, the guillotines, and the town square executions, because that's what y'all be doing on Twitter. Y'all literally bring people to the town square, which is Twitter, and y'all just be chopping people's heads off, send them to the guillotines off with their heads. And the whole thing is raggedy. The whole thing is raggedy. Like, y'all really want to see blood. Y'all really want to see mass floggings. Y'all literally want to see pain and hurt. And I don't understand why, because the whole thing is weird. The whole thing is weird. The whole thing is so weird. And like the conservatives will like be complaining about like the low birth rate, but look at how you're dehumanizing the people and that are supposed to be bringing kids into this world. Look at the way you're dehumanizing them. Look at the way you're treating them, but then you want them to go on and have kids, bring kids into this world. Like, look at the economy. Look at the fact that the mortality rate for mothers are so low. Look at the fact that a lot of women who are mothers, whether they're married, girlfriend, baby daddy, whatever, are all single moms. And the fact that people are like, oh, I don't want to work, I just want to stay at home and take care of the kids. You think taking care of kids ain't work? That's a literal job. It's called a nanny. But because those kids share your genetic makeup, you don't think that's a job. Because nobody is giving you W-2s and is sending money to your PayPal.
Oh my goodness.
You think that's not a job? Whenever people say I don't want to work, I want to be a mom, it's like something's not clicking up there. Like, literally, like, there are a couple brain cells missing. Because what do you mean I don't want to work, I want to be a mom? That's a literal job. It's called a nanny. It's called a babysitter. Like, what? Huh? And then it's weird. It's crazy because when a dad is taking care of his kids, it clocks to y'all that it's work. Y'all start calling him a babysitter. Oh my God, Jared is babysitting the kids. Y'all start to conflate it with actual labor, which it has always been. But when a woman is taking care of kids, it's not work. Y'all are weird. And I can't believe y'all really got me out here defending Cardi B, but look, there's a day for everything, and I guess that day for some, I guess that day is today. I don't know. And then also, I honestly can't keep up, because for me, I'm a bit of semantic. You know, I went to school and took a lot of biology classes, so unfortunately, I caught that disease. But I'm a bit of a semantic when it comes to words. Things just gotta make sense. We're not gonna sit here and act like baby mama, wife, single mom, girlfriend, ex-wife, and random raggedy situationship. These are all the same thing. Now, I'm never gonna call somebody a baby mom as like, oh, she a baby mom, to like demean her or anything. But it's like, in a world where y'all are picking and choosing how much worth to ascribe to a woman based on her relationship to a man, to sit here and act like a baby mama and a wife is the same is not the same. Because a lot of these women are doing it the traditional way, the respectable way. Y'all are big on respectability politics. They're doing it the respectable way, and it's still not enough for y'all. Like, these terms are not interchangeable. Like, and again, you shame women if they do it the right way. You shame them when they don't, and you're acting like I'm honestly afraid that some of you might be behind closed doors calling Mariah Carey Nick Cannon's baby mama. And that's where I have to, I have to log out completely. Because what are we talking about? What are we talking about? If you marry, bad. If you don't marry, bad. Like, regardless, y'all just want to demean women. You just want to demean women. Y'all just want to be misogynistic. And I know I'm saying it like this is breaking news. Like, obviously, duh. Like, people just want to demean women. Like, misogyny is the foundation on which Western society is built. Like, sure, still the whole thing's gagging me. I'm sorry, still the whole thing is gagging me. Why we still choose to shame women is beyond me, because who's we? Y'all have been shaming women for a hot minute now. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed. Shaming women for their choices, or sometimes lack thereof, is clearly doing nothing. It's doing nothing, but y'all keep doing it. But then the men who, it takes two to tango, allegedly. I've never seen y'all put that into practice, but it takes two to tango, allegedly. But are y'all shaming these men for having unprotected sex? No. And I'm genuinely concerned. Like, I recently, on TikTok, saw this girl talk about her dad who has 22 kids. And but beyond the 22 kids, like, looking at Nick Cannon, looking at Elon Musk, looking at Cam Newton, and all these other raggedy men who have multiple kids, insert rapper here, insert athlete here as well, multiple kids. And my question is, and Stephon Diggs having like multiple kids in quick succession of each other. I think there are 3 women who are pregnant right now, and he already had kids before he got all those women pregnant. Just having unprotected sex with all these women, random people you don't know, or you do know, I don't care, but like, just having unprotected sex. Like, men are sex addicts, and if we're using people forward language, they are people who are suffering from sex addiction. I don't know what to tell you. Either way, it's odd, it's strange, it's weird. Like, what's going on? Genuinely, what's going on? And then y'all be out here trying to talk about the LGBTQ community when it comes to STDs, but like, bro, straight men are scary. Like, the stats on STDs when it comes to straight men are genuinely scary. And then when you like zero in on black men specifically, it's crazy. And then y'all act like these men aren't using you, like using the women that they're with, their bodies as protection, right? Like, protection from having kids, like protection in terms of like birth control, and then protection in terms of like sexually transmitted diseases. Like, it's so weird. Like, you're expecting that if she hasn't really been with anybody, or she isn't showing any symptoms, then you're good. And if she's taking her birth control, then you don't have to wear a condom. Like, the way that responsibility is always placed on women to like, all like, you have the kids, or the women should have done this, women should have done, which was what obviously all of this is because of like Chrissy and the Reed, like whatever. But even when she was talking about like, oh, why are you just like collecting male, like, why are you just collecting like sperm from these men, like whatever, when there are other things that you could be doing with them sexually. And it's like, why is that her responsibility? Why is that burden being placed on her shoulders, bro? Like, and men will do the same thing to women. Like, you, as long as she's not showing any signs, as long as she has birth control, you don't have to protect yourself. It's so weird. These women are trapping us. Why didn't you protect yourself? Why was the burden on this other person to protect you from a fate you didn't want? Now I gotta pay all this child support. If you didn't want to pay child support, you should have wrapped it up. You should have protected yourself. But no, all these men are looking for a mommy. They're looking for somebody to put their goals and aspirations and like protect them and make sure that their life pans out the way they want their life to pan out. All of it is weird and spooky behavior. And then the people who are like, oh, I don't care. I support what Christy was saying because the thing is, y'all only care about Cardi. Y'all don't care about the kids. Y'all don't care about the kids. You don't care about the kids. Let me just tell you right now. You don't care about the kids. I don't know who lied to you, but they lied, and they told you even more ridiculous lies. You don't care about those kids. And let me tell you why. Because let me tell you, the baby's here now. The baby's here now. What is this yelling actually going to do for anybody? What is this yelling going to do for anybody? Y'all think that by yelling, you accomplish two things. One, you prevent other women from thinking about doing this thing that you don't like. And then two, you think that by yelling at the mom, you're protecting the kids. But like, how are you protecting the kids? You're literally berating my mother. How is berating my mother protection for me as a child? How is berating my mother protection for me as a child? Now, if watching Cardi B be like berated online is what's gonna stop you from making callous decisions with men, I guess, but I highly doubt that. Because again, when it comes to straight relationships between men and women, men have the power, not women. If we don't want kids to be brought into this world all willy-nilly, we need to be talking to the men, bro. We need to be talking to the men. One, because they hold the power. And two, we've been talking to the women. Ain't nothing changed. We've been talking to the women. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed. The women who literally don't have reproductive rights, ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed, bro. We don't want y'all swear y'all don't want these kids to be brought into these broken homes and unstable, whatever. Why are we talking to the women who have less rights than men? Why are we talking to the women who have less power than men? Why are we talking to the women who are actually like, women are more likely to be on birth control than a man is to use a condom? Why are we talking to the women? What do you think yelling is going to do? You think yelling is really going to stop some girl from making stupid decisions with a man? When we live in a man's world, when we live in a world that encourages women to be male identified and do things for male validation and all this other nonsense, and then y'all really think that berating a mom is helpful to children? That if Cardi B's kids grow up and watch how Chrissy and all the people who agreed with her, how they were talking crazy about their mom, you think this is gonna what do you think this is gonna do for them? What do you think this is gonna, if Cardi B really ends up being if Cardi B really is like a terrible mom, or like the women y'all keep shaming really are terrible moms, the only person that can help them is a therapist, of which none of you are. None of you are therapists. Y'all barely even good friends. None of you are therapists. Like, so how is berating someone's terrible mom helpful to them? I'm so confused. And then y'all swear this is y'all just holding people accountable. We're just holding people accountable. That's the problem. Y'all just don't want to hold people accountable. Y'all don't want to hold your faves accountable. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. Even though I know your hand is gross and very, very sticky. But I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. Babe. Bestie boo, you cannot hold someone outside your community accountable. I don't know who needed to hear this, and I don't know why this is not clicking for y'all, but you cannot hold someone outside your community accountable. That's not how that works. That person has to consider you a part of their circle, or you have to be a group whose opinion they care about. You have to be part of a group that they care about. If you're not one of those two, you cannot hold that person accountable. You can't hold them to account. That's why when all that stuff happened with Laverne Cox and the MAGA cop, she was able to come out and take accountability for what happened, because the people who were critiquing her was a community she really cares about, right? She really identifies with those scholars, those people who were critiquing her, the activists and so on and so forth. Like, she was able to actually, hold herself accountable, hold herself to account. And then similar thing with Cardi B and Cardi B and Samira, right? Like, she did not care at all what Samira was saying. Samira was the TikToker who was calling her out because of the fatphobic thing she was saying about like her merch and everything. Like, Cardi B did not care even the slightest bit about what that woman was saying. And a lot of people have been talking about the difference between Cardi B's response to Samira and Cardi B's response to Chrissy. But the thing is, like, Samira could never hold Cardi B accountable because Cardi B does not identify with progressive language, right? Cardi B does not identify, like, she doesn't care about progressive language, number one, and Samira doesn't have like the type of notoriety that would make someone like a Cardi B like care. You know what I mean? Like if let's say like Gayle King or Oprah or Lizzo or you know, somebody who like Cardi B, like, you know, that wealth and power and glamour world that Cardi B and like a lot of rappers like submit to, if somebody from that caliber had like, you know, held her to account about the fatphobic thing she was saying, she would have been more open to listening to it from a person like that than like a Samira, some random person on TikTok. You know what I mean? To her, it's just like, oh, these raggedy heifers have started again. Like, these little peasants who ain't even a part of my fan base, or like whatever. And then with the whole Chrissy thing, like Crystal, have I been saying Chrissy this whole time? I'm so sorry. It's Crystal. And then the whole thing with Crystal, people were like, oh, how come with Crystal, like Cardi B wasn't flying off the handle? It's like, her and Crystal, they're from the same background. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of the way they talk, in terms of the way they, you know, tough in their mind, it's like tough love, but it's like y'all are just like verbally berating people. Like, this is just flogging. Like, that's what y'all are doing. There's no love here at all. So she's more likely to respond, like, not positively per se, but like respond with some semblance of sense to a Crystal than a Samira. Because with Crystal, she's really interacting with herself, but with Samira, like, she didn't respect Samira even the small, like that. She was like so insignificant to Cardi, like Samira was so insignificant to Cardi B, like it's not even a joke. You know, part of it, definitely a part of that, it does have to do with the fact that, you know, Cardi B don't, from what I can tell, she don't care nothing about no fat people. But even beyond that, like the way that Samira speaks is very, like, you know, it's very calm and like, let me hold your hand, like we can all do better than this. Cardi B don't care about none of that. Now, if you come at Cardi B crazy because she be coming at people crazy, that's like the type of like language she responds to. And like, I grew up around people like that, and I always found it so strange because y'all hate when people talk to you like human beings. Like, you don't hate it like overtly, but like the way you act, like, why do I have to talk to you like you're an imbecile or like an animal for you to like really deep what I'm saying? There are people who, if you're not cursing them out, if you're not insulting them, if you're not degrading them, if you're not talking to them wild, they literally don't know how to respond to you. Like, they can only respond to callous behavior. I find it so strange. I was watching a movie with Kristen Bell the other day. I think it was like Weddings for People We Hate. Hold on, let me look it up. The People We Hate at the Wedding. That's literally that's what it was called. And some guy that she had like met on the plane, and you know, they both got to London and like they liked each other, and he was like, you're the woman of my dreams. Like, she ended up like being raggedy to him in a way, and he was like, you like men who treat you like trash, and like, you know, yeah, like who treat you like trash and act like you're nothing because you also believe that you're nothing, and like that's really sad. Like, it's one of those things, like there are certain people who just don't, who act like they shouldn't be talked to and treated with respect, and they think it's fine because they also don't talk to people or treat people with the respect. It's very odd. It's very strange. It's also like a really big thing in the Black community where, like, you know, we have a history of being treated like less than human, right? Like we didn't, there's the joke of like white kids being able to talk back to their parents as opposed to Black kids who can't do that. But it's like, you know, a lot of that is borrowed from like slavery and colonialism. What slavery and colonialism do white people have to refer back to, right? They, you know, they could probably talk about like the Greeks and like, girl, ain't nobody care about that. But it's so wild because it's so violent in that way. People think like verbal violence is not a thing. It is. Chris Rock, you will never hear any good words from me. But, you know, verbal violence is literally a thing, and we're just so okay with verbal violence. We think like that's just the way I talk, like that's just tough love. Like no, like you've been brought up in a world that tells you it's okay for you to hate yourself and people like you, and that's very odd, very strange. And then, you know, it's cute to tell the truth and be right and have a hot take and give an unpopular opinion and all this other, you know, nonsense that people be talking about. But let's not forget that our words have impact as well, right? Like, I'm not even the biggest, like, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. I'm not the biggest, anyway, I'm not the biggest, it's not what you said, it's the way you said it person. With that being said, though, even though no matter how you say something, I will always be able to, or to the best of my ability, I'll always be able to parse out the message regardless of its presentation. I'm not going to sit here and act like our words don't have impact, right? Like, regardless of how you said it, I'm going to listen to what you said. So, for example, when I'm thinking about like Glorilla and Young Thug and everything that happened with them, and her getting her lick back, you know, love that for her. That diss song that she ain't claiming. But she used like colorism as like a get back to Young Thug. And, you know, some people might be like, oh, when it comes to like rap battles, like nothing's off the table, like whatever. But it's like, no, I'm sorry, but like, no, like if you really gotta use like colorism and other like weird, just like, you know, stuff that just don't, if you're really an intellect and you're really a poet, like really be an intellect, really be a poet. You know, that's what people were telling JT, like, do you really need to use homophobia to get back at Cardi B? Like, if you're really a poet, be a poet, you know? And so it's not even about like the way you said it. It's what did you say? I'm listening to what you said. Like, forget about the profanity, forget about the yelling. Like, I'm listening to what you're saying. And babe, either what you're saying is not making sense or what you're saying is actually crazy. It's crazy. So like Crystal being anti-Cardi B's choice is one thing, right? That it's one thing. But there were so many other L takes embedded in that rant. So it's not even fun like how she said what she said. It's literally what else she said. She didn't get on there and say like, oh wow, I really don't like the fact that Cardi B is having a kid by Stephon Diggs. What a weird man. And I feel like this is gonna affect her tour the same way it affected her previous tour. I hope that's not the case, and I really hope women stop having kids by these raggedy men. She didn't say that. That's not what she said. And you know, there are other things she could have put in there to really drag her. I'm not saying she had to necessarily be nice to you know, one Cardi B. I'm not even saying that. But it's like, it's regardless of how she said it, it's what she said. The other L takes that were embedded in there, basically insinuating like women, especially successful women, there's already this stigma that like to be a mom and to be a successful woman you have to choose, and like successful women are like inherently bad parents. And even, you know, there was a time that Cardi B was yelling at Offset, you know, one of her many child, Offset off to cheat, just raggedy, the whole situation raggedy. But she was saying like, you know, you talk to culture and you say, oh, your mom won't let me do what did she say? Like, she was basically saying like there was something that Offset was saying that made it seem like she was a bad mom, and he knows that like that cuts her deep. Like, that's something that she don't play about, like, you know, her kids and being a good mom. Like, she doesn't play about that, and he knows like that. He knows that he can easily weaponize that, use that to shame her, and that like that cuts really deep, right? There's already an inherent double standard with women and kids, and especially successful women and having kids. And there was just this L take of like, she's not really raising her kids and parenting her kids. She's letting like money parent her kids for her, which like, where'd you get that from? And then talking about like dying on a surgery table for a mommy makeover, like that's not, you know. And then there was the body shaming, and then there was like, oh, she's not working out, she's just stretching. Meanwhile, you know, Cardi B can afford the highest of the highest when it comes to, because you know the rap girls don't, they take, you know, aesthetics very seriously. So like if there's an exercise she needs to be doing, Crystal's not gonna be the one to tell her. It's gonna be the you know, the gym people that she be paying millions and thousands to get her body right. Like, what are you talking about? And then it calls into question a lot of her opinions on reproductive rights, because a lot of it was just like a lot of it was just reductive, if reductive is even the right word. Like if not reductive, it was very crude. And then, she was talking about like her being able to perform, like whether or not she would give a good performance when it comes to the tour. Now, I'm kind of concerned for Cardi, talking about right after the whole pregnancy thing is done, like she's gonna go straight into performance. I will say though, Beyonce did do it, so I'm not even gonna do too much on her. I'm just concerned. And calling into question her performing skills, which, let's be so serious, are we expecting great performances from rappers? These male rappers charge y'all an arm, a leg, a kidney stone, and bone marrow, and just stand on stage with their homeboys jumping around, yelling out gang gang, do you gang bang? Like literally, that's all they do on stage. That's literally all they do on stage. They let their chains perform on their behalf. And y'all want to talk about Cardi B? Meanwhile, mind you, Cardi B at some point was the best rap performer aside from Kendrick Lamar. Like it was her, Kendrick Lamar. Those were the only two rappers that were actually performing for a hot second. And y'all and right now she's pregnant, doing shows, doing performances, and she's doing a good job. Like she's giving the girls what she's always given them, which is a great show. Whatever. And then talking about how like money doesn't raise kids. Look at the Trumps, and like calling into question the type of people Cardi B's kids will like grow up to be. And I get that point, but it's like, why do you think that that's gonna be Cardi B's kids though? It's like a lot of these talking points, there are good takes in here somewhere. She didn't give good takes on any of them though. That's the thing. Like, there's a good take in here somewhere. She didn't give good takes. She literally didn't give good takes. Like, and it like, y'all swear it's the presentation. It's not the presentation. It's the points. It's not the packaging. It's the points. That's where a lot of us were lost. And the fact that in that entire rant and that entire drag, she did not once go after Stephon Diggs. She didn't dig into Stephon Diggs. The world is a dark and dangerous place for women, bro. And then, yeah, so when you're dragging someone for filth, like, you gotta be careful, because your nasty, deep-seated beliefs will spring out. Like, that's where we'll really, know, like, if all this progressive, working on myself, growing as a person, like, if you're really going in that direction, and if you're really staying in that direction you claim to be going in, because it's very easy for people to regress. Very easy. And when you go on these charged, heated rants and you start saying stuff that like is very backwards, doesn't make any sense, that people start saying, this sounds very much like some Charlie Kirk would say, and none of us are like, yeah, well, that's taking it. No, it does sound like something that Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens would say, and we would all be looking at them like, this is raggedy. And mind you, like, even the way you were saying it, like, I couldn't even see a couple of them really saying it with that much like vitriol, like, they would, the degrading language would definitely be taken a couple steps further, but it's the vitriol. Like, there was poison in those words. There was you would have thought that Cardi B did something to her personally, bro. And the crazy part is, like, y'all are acting like Cardi B like was very much like, oh, I'm so like happy with this decision, and not like, y'all are acting like she was championing this decision, like she was standing 10 toes down behind this. We, like, everyone with common sense could tell that Cardi B knows that this wasn't the best choice. Like, she literally told Gayle King before she told her parents. Told Gayle King she hadn't told her parents, and she has to hurry and tell them before the interview comes out. Like, if that interview didn't come out, I don't know if she really, look, whatever. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But now that she's had the kids, what can be done? Now that she is fully on her, she's in something trimester, right? What can be done, right? Literally nothing can be done. The child is pretty much already here, right? She's chosen to keep the child, pretty much already here. It's too late. It's too late for a lot of these, like, shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's too late. So now we got to figure out what the next right step is. Now we have to keep going forward. Word to Frozen 2 and Meet the Robinsons. Like, we got to figure out the next right step, and we got to keep moving forward, because it's too late now to be doing shoulda, woulda, coulda-isms. It's too late. But if we're gonna offer critique, let's offer critique with grace and compassion, and then move on. Grace and compassion. Like, the child is already here. It's too late. The child is already here. It's too late. And then I heard somebody try to give some L point talking about the moms are just like dropping these kids off at a cousin's place or a grandma's place. They're not really raising these kids. Let me tell you, 2 parents can't raise no damn kids. It takes a village. It actually takes a community. So I don't know what that bum take was. Like, Cardi B got her sister, her mom, her grandparents, all this, nannies, like all these people around her, and y'all just pissed because some man who you will never hold to account for his decisions isn't there. There are women who are married right now. They still single moms. And a lot of them don't even want these kids. At least Cardi B want her kids. Child. And speaking of the people who are co-signing this, agreeing with someone is one thing, right? Sorry, not agreeing with somebody's choices is one thing. But going on how long was this rant again? Going on a 20-minute rant about somebody that you don't know because they made a decision that is not harming anyone, that you don't believe in, is not virtue or moral or compassion for unborn kids or progressive or smart or hot take. It's deranged behavior, okay? And you're clearly going through something, right? Be angry with the people that hurt you. Don't adorn strangers with your hate. Like, that's so weird. Like, you're clearly mad at somebody in particular. There's somebody very specifically that you're mad at, and you're projecting this anger onto some stranger that you don't know. That's very weird. I'm sorry, but that's so, like, you child, there's clearly someone from your past that you want to lobby this at specifically, and trying to lobby this at a stranger is so odd. Like, there's this show called Beef, and I watched like an analysis video on it on YouTube, and they talked about how Ali Wong and Steven Yeun's character have a lot to be angry about in their own personal lives, but they chose to take it out on each other, right? These strangers that they don't know, instead of confronting their own issues head on. And, I'm looking at Crystal and I'm like, girl, you might have some friends, or like maybe your mom, who regrets having their kids the way that they did, or like they regret having kids in general, or they have more kids than they can handle, and you're just projecting like that pain and that anger that you can't give to those people that you know in your personal life, and you're placing that on the head of dumb bees from the Bronx. That's what she was saying. Because I'm not even gonna pretend anymore like that the 20-minute rant was about Cardi B. Like, it wasn't about Cardi B, right? Like, so if you live in the Bronx, I fear that Crystal was talking about you. I'm sorry, I fear she was talking about you. But obviously these are all assumptions. Like, I don't know her friend. Like, I know that I've learned that she is child free. She helps out with a couple friends who have kids. Don't know what type of relationship she has with her mom. But it's like, I don't know, it really was giving like she got a homegirl that she really don't agree with her choices, but she can't tell her homegirl that she thinks she does. So now the dumb bees from the Bronx with nothing better to do are catching strays. And my question is, for what reason? And like, I understand that a lot of people are tired of seeing like women basically give up so much and maybe in their head go out sad by these men by being like whole single moms. But the answer is not degradation. Like, degradation is not the answer. Like, I get that it's annoying, but like, degrading people who are bringing human beings into this world, like, and you think you're doing that for the kids. Like, if my mom hates the fact that she's my mom because everybody has made her feel that being my mom is like the worst decision she's ever made, how does that help my life? Right? Like, if my mom hates being my mom because everybody's like, you're such an idiot for being a mom, how does that help my life? Every time she sees me, she's gonna think that I was the worst thing to ever happen to her. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we got Olandria out here talking about she wants to be the best mistake her parents ever made, which I want to give her a hug. Like, I want to give her a hug because, babe, you're like, I get the whole mistake thing, like, from like a logical point of view, but like, you're not a mistake, bro. You're not a mistake. And like, it would be a lot easier for both the moms and the kids to digest this if we didn't live in a world that just like attacks mothers for being mothers. Like, before women end up pregnant, we can talk, and hopefully talk with like compassion and common sense. But once the kids are here, like, bro, charge it at that point. Like, it's over. There's nothing else you can do at that point. Just support. And don't make things worse, bro. Dragging my mom is not gonna make my life as a child any better, because I absorb whatever like pain or stress or whatever that my mom is going through, because she's my mom. Like, you're like weird. Like, y'all acting like y'all ain't never heard of epigenetics before. Like, you act like you don't have a nervous system. Like, you didn't absorb things, bro. Everybody's pressuring me. And then I'm just gonna leave you with this. Someone said, you are not virtuous, you are just lucky. Okay, a lot of you think you're so much better than people because of all the great decisions that you've made, but let's be so serious. You didn't choose your parents. You didn't choose a lot of the houses and the neighborhoods you grew up in. A lot of your biology wasn't up to you. Like, yes, you're making better decisions now, or better mistakes now, I don't know, but a good chunk of it is just the fact that you were lucky, right? In the words of Zuko, my dad said that Azula was born lucky, and I was lucky to be born. A lot of us are not virtuous. We were just lucky. So let's give other people some grace. It's getting ghetto. It's getting ghetto, and it's been ghetto for a while now. Let's stop.
When will we learn that actions have consequences? I'm connecting a lot of different threads, and I'm starting to realize that there's one thing in common with all of these recent cancellations and takedowns that we've been seeing, and a lot of the recent Twitter drama. And it's making me think back to the days of Tumblr. And I know that a lot of you were very young and you weren't on Tumblr in 2014 to 2016 when this blog was at its heyday. But I'm really, really starting to reminisce about how Your Fave is Problematic created a lot of the mess that we've been seeing on both Book Talk, Book Twitter, Tumblr, and TikTok today. And funnily enough, this person was also thinking about it. She tweeted, "Every day of my life, I think about how the person behind the Your Fave is Problematic Tumblr came out a number of years later and was like, whoops, sorry, I caused unspeakable damage to an entire generation's critical thinking skills. I was depressed, LOL. When will we learn that actions have consequences?" And in case you missed my previous videos, go back and watch those. I'm talking specifically about the Anna Mardal cancellation last week and the Your Problematic authors list that was tweeted yesterday. And I think this is all connected in this very large social way. And that tweet was specifically talking about this New York Times article from last year, 2021, My Year of Grief and Cancellation. So for those of you who were too young or were busy having social lives between 2014 and 2016, this blog on Tumblr was called Your Fave is Problematic. In it, this girl basically posted a celebrity and every bad thing that they've ever done. And she admittedly spent hours and hours researching each post. She basically called out which celebrities were racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, ethnophobic, ableist, etc. Something that is very familiar to all of us on TikTok today. And I think that this was very powerful of her to admit. The blog started, as so many anonymous projects do, as vengeful public shaming masquerading as social criticism. I was fine-tuning my moral compass and coming into my own as a feminist. So when I noticed that classmates started making sexist jokes, I started posting about them. And I think that this perfectly relates back to the Anna Mardal situation, wherein someone pretended to be homeless and losing money and basically posting GoFundMes while working for the biggest unaliver in the country and using their social capital to cancel other people by calling them out for being ableist and biphobic and transphobic, etc. And this actually made me think about TikTok today and Twitter today. I was teaching myself about social justice on Tumblr while also posturing as an authority on that very subject, thinking I was making a difference while engaging in a bit of schadenfreude. This is exactly what we see on TikTok today, especially a lot of these social justice circles, right? Like that person posting about how they were in a queer relationship. A lot of this is literally just very, very young people learning about these topics for the first time and wielding them as cudgels to punish other people, even though they don't know anything. And she apologized for this. She says, these days, there's no shortage of online accountability efforts, the large part of them anonymous. My own work fell somewhere in the middle. Others are explicitly named at naming, shaming, and punishing people for all kinds of actions. I think that this is incredible of her to apologize for doing this. And I think that as people on the internet get older, we're going to see less and less of this instinct to attack.
A lot of what I'm going to be talking about today is from the jumping off point of Cardi B, The Read, Crissle, and Crissle's rant about Cardi B being a single mom and what this means for her career and et cetera, et cetera. And so from that vantage point, I'm just going to be tying a lot of things together and bringing a lot of things into the fold, and just, you know, talking about society at large. This is me cosplaying anthropologist, sociologist, etc., cultural critic. And I have like my bullet point notes and like a couple blurbs that I wrote out and I'm gonna read out. But yeah, this whole situation, this whole discourse left me with a lot of thoughts, and I'm just gonna be going through a couple of those talking points. Damn, an hour?